Happy holidays, and welcome to Mornings of Mischief. I'm your host, Stone Lukey. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Purple Valkyrie and Samantha Joe. The Valkyries are here. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Psychodor of 9, Jester of Sin, the Guardian of the Void. Lady Mist is here. Adega Outlaw, hail, brother. Sit room. Good morning, Philip A. Demick. How are you guys doing? Robert Verlinden. Good morning, Dave. Bob the Rooster in the henhouse is here. Good morning, Keely Chow. Roll Tide, Keely. Roll Tide, Rambling Canuck, Darth Haster. Good morning, Gun Bunny. How are you guys doing this morning? Man, it is Wednesday. We've got 2 days to that big white holiday. Damn, are we moving fast? It's like blink and this week is over. We are almost over with this week. It is absolutely insane. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about this morning is an insane article I read over at Bounding Into Comics, written by Spencer Bakuli. And I am going to share that. Give me 1 second. You can find this article over at Bounding Into Comics. Disney Air warns that companies' corporate greed will lead to disastrous fall. Adjuster of Sin, good morning, and Yuletide greetings, sir. Good morning, and War Eagle, Philip A. Demick, yes. Oh, no white here from Robert Verlinden. Only lots of rain. Oh, man, I'm so sorry. So sorry. So this is Spencer Bakuli, written on December 22nd, 2020. Heir to the Walt Disney Company, Abigail Disney believes that if left unchecked, the company's corporate greed and mistreatment of its lower-level employees will lead to the entertainment giant's collapse. The collapse of Disney. Let's see if she has anything interesting to say. In a recent interview with the California radio station KCRW, Disney lamented how she does not believe the company and the magic can survive this kind of corporate behavior, nor that the brand, as solid as gold as it is, will last if the company's greed continues to grow. And it is the kind of brand that is so enormous and all-encompassing, and people invest so much into it, I don't think it will erode slowly. It will fall over like a great sequoia, added Disney. I'm a little bit about saving the company over the long term. I think the company needs to be saved from itself. And good morning, Colin P. Smith. Chris Persia, if I didn't get you earlier, good morning, brother. Sit room, good morning, Cred Sox 5. Good morning, Jedi Bill. 797. Good morning. Good morning. As the interview continued, Disney was also criticized how the high compensation at the top tends to come as a reward for pushing down compensation at the bottom. You guys think she has a point? I kind of think she has a point. When I try and draw a direct line between how the C-suite is paid and how the hourly workers are paid, when I try to draw a direct line between some of those things, explained Disney, I think Disney executives look at me like I'm speaking in some kind of alien language, because to them, that's just the dumbest thing they have ever heard. To them, there's no relationship between what we pay a line worker, a shift worker, and what we pay Bob Iger. It's true. It's true. The rank and file don't get paid. Disney also took great issue with the company's corporate detachment from the realities of their workers' day-to-day lives, particularly as ongoing COVID pandemic-related layoffs continue to threaten lower-level cast members and economic hardships. Let's not pretend the employees that get laid off go somewhere and disappear. They lose their houses. They are homeless. They have to steal things to eat, said Disney. According to outspoken Disney Air, the current behavior exhibited by the company flies directly in the face of her grandfather Walt Disney's creative ambitions. His current executives could never fathom risking their bottom line for their employees or their artistic passions. And Robert Verlinden, yes, Disney doesn't create anymore. They just buy. My grandfather made a lot of money, and he provided for me and my children, of course. He wasn't shy about taking compensation, she noted. I'm not talking about ownership. I'm saying, are you willing to put everything you have up again and again and again every single time with the chance of losing everything? Because that is what my grandfather did. I like her. Disney then argued that Walt would never have taken a $66 million payday. Never. And not because he was a perfect guy, but because it wasn't done. It just wasn't done. Eventually, the interview turned to the subject of Bob Chapek's replacement of Bob Iger as Disney CEO. Ooh, I feel we're about to see a gut punch here, ladies and gentlemen. Earlier this year, to which Disney asserted that there is no question, it's baffling. There's probably something to know in the fact that it was baffling because he doesn't do things that way. Iger is a nice man and a great manager. I have nothing personal against him, clarified Disney. But his strategy from the day one was to buy Pixar, buy Lucasfilm. He was a purchaser of creativity, which added and added to the machine. And I believe it was... God, who just said it? Somebody just said it because I just had it in my sights. Robert Verlinden. And Disney doesn't create anymore; they just buy. Keely Chow, if I was a Disney stockholder, I would sell my shares of Disney stock. Robert Verlinden, you can't treat a company that makes money with creativity like some kind of bank. That's exactly what it does. Disney are the beginnings of the Borg. They assimilate everything they touch. Resistance is futile, gesture of sin. And the Mirror Sphere Origins. Hail, my friends. Hail, Mirror Sphere Origins. Good morning. She continued, and the machine is like this furnace, and you just feed the creative product in there, and it just spins out all over this other stuff. And then you can add a hotel, and you can expand the park. You can do all this stuff. But if you don't keep feeding it creativity, but there had to have been a point at which where there was too much in the machine or the machine was too complicated. Dave Bob, Disney's corporate greed is killing creativity. Keely Chow, Disney is a sinking ship. Disney further observed that it was extremely disappointing to see a person who never held a creative job in his life take over the company. As for Chapek, it is just a business. It is the deli. They're selling salami, and they're slicing it as thin as they possibly can because they're not making any more salami. She also expressed her opinion that the corporate board strategy favored by Disney at current would not change anytime soon, especially not in the light of recent election of the former Vice President Joe Biden to the White House. Let's not forget that Joe Biden was the senator from Delaware, Disney, where 90-something% of corporations are based, and that Bob Iger is a huge Democrat supporter and thought about running for president in the same party. What do you make of Disney's comments? You know what I make of Disney's comments? She's right. She's absolutely positively right. Does that mean Disney's going to go down? I don't know. Depends on how long the coup lasts. Can the parks take being closed for another year? No, they absolutely cannot. A Dig Outlaw, Disney is a blind extortion racket. Look what they do to the IPs and people like Alan Dean Foster. Acquire and exploit for profit is their unwritten motto. Robert Verlinden, you can't just vomit your IP over everything in sight if your character only runs skin deep. Purple Valkyrie, Disney is no longer the happiest place on earth. Now it just spreads misery and is motivated by greed. Darth Hasser, Abigail is going to drive him into more debt with what she wants to propose, a wealth tax. Dave Bob, common sense. Keely Chow, message to AT&T, whatever Disney is doing, do the opposite. I agree with that. I agree with that. Keely Chow. Disney has a choice. It's like any other company has a choice. They have been withholding royalties from authors. We all know about that. If you don't, just look up what's going on with Alan Dean Foster. Other authors have stepped forward with similar claims. I know that last month, the Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers of America launched a social media campaign to bring awareness to the situation, because these are writers that still have books in print. They still earn money. And just because Disney bought that company does not mean that those writers do not get a cut of what is being sold. It's absolutely baffling. It is absolutely baffling that this can go on, that this is allowed. Just because they purchased the rights to Star Wars does not mean that, let's say, Timothy Zahn or Alan Dean Foster don't get a cut of the profits off of sales of those books. How long can Disney do this and try and get away with it? That's the question. And they have absolutely no right to do this. I don't care what fantasy world they live in. I don't care what their board says. When you buy something and you have a writer attached to that is making royalties off books, you still have to pay those royalties. Disney may not want to. You still have to pay it. So, those writers, those creators, those epic minds, they all need to get together and sue Disney. When you treat your writers like trash, when you treat your employees like trash, when you say, oh well, they're not even living in the same world. Oh well, we are the board, and we live in a whole different world than the little people. No, you live in the same world. We're all fucking human beings here. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter what you say. You can throw your 7 pillars of diversity out all you want to. You can throw your 7 pillars of diversity out the fucking window for all I care. We are all human beings. And when a human being contributes to something, guess what happens? They should get paid. Yeah, that's right. Royalties. Even WB knows that. Even Warner Brothers know that. When a writer creates something, guess what? If you put that in the movie, you've got to pay them. You've got to pay them, even when it's a shitty-ass movie like Suicide Squad. Ethan Van Sciver got paid for that. He got paid for that because part of his creations that he created, guess what? They're in there. So he got paid. What do you guys think? I mean, it's just greed, right? I mean, that's as far as it goes. It's just greed, or is there something else underlying all this? We all know what they're like with Star Wars. We all know what they did to George. We all know what they did to the EU. We all know they cherry pick. And we know that one of the writers of the EU, Timothy Zahn, still works very closely with Lucasfilm. How do we know that? Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? His creation, Grand Admiral Thrawn, just got mentioned in The Mandalorian. That alone is going to bring him some money. Sagador of 9 with a $5 super chat. When the tank runs dry, landing is a requirement. Choose how hard you land. Yeah, do you want to glide in, Or do you want to land like a brick? Thank you so very much, Psychodorp 9. And speaking of landings, here you go, brother. Skull! Burn it down with fire. Rebuild from the ashes, rise like a phoenix, however you want to put it. Disney's got something it's got to do with itself. And thank you so very much, Psychodorp 9. You guys keep the home fires burning bright in Valhalla. Derek McManus, Timothy Zahn is a legend. He is. He is. And what was Walt's original dream? That's a question. Speaker for the Dad. Good morning, Brian. How are you doing, brother? How are you doing? Guys, Speaker for the Dead, Brian over at Speaker for the Dead is going to join us for our Spaceballs movie watch party next month. I cannot wait to have him over there again as a guest. Thank you, brother. Reading Heir to the Empire at the moment, Purple Valkyrie. What a damn good book. What a damn good books. There's so many good books in the EU. And Disney trashed them. And they're trying to bring it back. I don't know if they will or not. It'll be an interesting thing to see. Corporate Disney thinks they're above the peons. It's true. That is true. The magic of Disney. Robert Verlinden, I have Timothy Zahn's trilogy here in my bookcase. Such an epic tome. Yes, I do as well. Original first editions, not the Legends editions. Ugh. I hate Legends. Can Disney survive? I think it can. Does it have to do everything Abigail Disney wants? No. But it has to treat its employees better. If it shows anything, it shows that those day-to-day employees, those people that come in and carry that company on its backs, they're the ones who keep Disney in the position it is in. Disney is in such a bad place right now. It's going to be even worse next quarter. It's going to be even worse next quarter because the coup is not going away. And they're going to have to come up with all new kinds of regulations to get people into the parks. I don't think they can do all that. I don't think that it's going to be a matter of, woohoo, it's over. Just like that. This is going to take years to come back from. And it didn't have to. It didn't have to. I haven't read any of his on Star Wars books, but I like his independent stuff. He is a tactical mind, Colin P. Smith. That man has a tactical mind, and it comes out in everything he writes. Yeah, which way will it fall, Dave Bob? Will it be able to pick up the pieces? Can all of Disney's horses and all of Disney's mouses put the House of Mouse back together again? It depends. It depends. I guarantee you that those employees that they treat like shit could carry that company. They have all this time. So many people want to work for Disney. So many people want to have something to do with Disney, whether it's the lowest level employee. And Robert Verlinden, I could fix Disney. I could do it in 4 years. Speaking of the Dead, Rogue Squadron from Timothy Zahn's books were the real Rogue Squadron, not what we will get from Kennedy Films. Are we going to get Wedge? Or are we going to get Alphabet Squadron? Need a new mouse to spin its wheel. It does. A Dega Outlaw. It does. I find it so hard to believe that it's just all corporate greed now. I remember sitting around the television watching what was it, the Epcot hour? You had did the Disney movies would come on, and they do it from the Epcot Center, and it was a different world. It really feels like a different world. The one that I experienced when I was a kid growing up compared to what we have now. Psychodorf 9 with a $5 super chat. Name me 3 people in power who gave it up willingly. Coop restrictions won't go away unless the machine breaks down. Thank you so very much, Psychodorf 9, for that $5 super chat, brother. And score! You guys keep the fires burning bright in Valhalla. Thank you so very much, Psychodorf 9. In Purple Valkyrie, I remember Euro Disney opening and how excited everyone was. It's true. I remember when Disney World opened in Florida. I remember going to Disneyland when I was a kid and having to get 2 balloons. 2 balloons. 2 Mickey Mouse balloons. Because it was Disney. It was the land of magic. The big companies will not correct course until one of the bigger ones fall. I don't think it's going to happen even after that. They'll just take advantage of it. Are we living, guys, what do you think? Are we living in the age of the corporation? Are we there yet? Are we at that dystopian cyberpunk future where corporations rule and everybody else, well, they're just kicked to the side? You have to wait. Is that where we're at? Are we at the point where corporations run the world? Huge corps, everybody else gets taken out. How many small businesses have been destroyed in the last year? How many small businesses are gone? How many big businesses still reign? And how many big businesses are going to get a bailout? Whereas the common everyday person gets a penny. With the Great Reset, probably. Stand up. That's right. Mark Dampling tired, but it can be reversed currently if people would just stand up. Bruce Lombardo, hell, how are you doing? Robert Berlinden, it's been happening for decades. Psychodorf 9, not yet, Loki, but that's where we're headed. Blade Runner, Speaker for the Dead. Yes, we're entering the world of Blade Runner. Scary. Get up, stand up. Yes, Robert Verlinden. That's what this channel is all about, is standing up and not kneeling. Not kneeling for any of this bullshit. We don't kneel. And we can't kneel. And if more people stand up, more people get on their microphones, more people say enough is enough. If more people cut out the Disney bank, more people keep their money in their wallets. More people say, no, I'm done. You're not getting a penny from me. The worse it's going to be when they do fall. What kind of corporate bailout is Disney going to scream for when they're done, when they're lying there wounded? Because they are right now. They are wounded and they are begging for money. They want a lot of money to help them in their corporate bailout because of the coup. Duck Fisney, Purple Valkyrie. Lord Thoth, I kneeled when I proposed. There are very, very few exceptions to the we do not kneel, Lord Thoth, but that, luckily, is one of them. That is a very, very good exception. Can Disney survive? Depends on if they want to. Depends on if they actually realize the problem that they have created, the monster. Gesture of sin. We're not there yet, but it's coming. Mark my words, Third World War will be downtown corporate greed. Yeah, Animal Farm. Animal Farm, Colin P. Smith. Why is it that so many warnings against the dystopia seem to have become targets to be aimed for? Because they don't want you to, nobody wants you to know. Nobody wants you to know. They don't want you to see it coming. They want to gradually warm up the water and boil you so you don't jump out of the pot. It's an old strategy. And Speaker for the Dead. Well, you have to kneel for a woman at least once, but they are worth it most of the time. And Colin P. Smith, I'll take a knee before my queen, my lady, and to let the rear rank shoot. For your brothers. Idiocracy. The movie Idiocracy. Mark the Infinitely Tired. Thank you, brother. It doesn't matter what Disney buys. It doesn't matter how much money Disney spends. It doesn't matter what IPs they purchase. They have made it their job to not be creative. They have made it their job to release the same dredge over and over and over again. How many magic moments can you have remaking the same shit? You can't. There's been a lot of word about remaking Star Wars, remaking the OT, recasting it, remaking it. And I'm sorry, you cannot capture that magic again. It's magic that is there for a reason. It wasn't a one and done. It wasn't, well, that movie came out and then everybody else went on to the next thing. No, Star Wars was magic because it was. You can't recapture that in a bottle again. Just like you can't recapture it with Mulan, with Beauty and the Beast, with whatever live action movie, Cinderella. You can't capture that again. It's magic because it was. It still is. The originals still are. Until they are long forgotten, you can't just go in and make them over again. The idea that every decade we're going to come out with a remake of all these movies. Oh, we're going to do 101 Dalmatians live. We're going to do Cinderella live. We're going to do Beauty and the Beast live. We're going to make a live version of Sleeping Beauty. And we're going to take the villain and we're going to make her the hero because that's what we do. That's what we do now. We don't want you to think of this as a love story. We don't want you to think of this as the knight boldly charging in to save the damsel of distress. We don't want you to think of this as good versus evil, yin versus yang. We want you to look at it our way, because we have a different way of looking at it. So we're going to rewrite. And that is something Disney has done, whether anybody wants to realize it or not. And I'm not talking about now, I'm talking about then too. A lot of the movies, Cinderella, Snow White, come to mind immediately, are old tales that were changed and tweaked to make them acceptable to audiences when they were released. And they still had problems. There were still people saying that, oh, well, you can't go see this because it's bad. You can't go see Cinderella. You can't go see Wizard of Oz. You can't read the Wizard of Oz book because we're a bunch of book-burning bigots. Project Storytime apparently gets the same magic every trip to Taco Bell. Yeah, it's called getting the shits. Do something new. Thank you, Nicole. Do something new. Why can't you do something new? Why are you spending all this money buying ideas when you can bring people up to create those ideas? When you can bring people in that have wonderful new ideas, that have wonderful new stories, that have wonderful new ways to take your company, and yet you're buying shit off of people. You're buying ideas off of people. You're buying other people's creativity instead of bringing it in and growing it in-house. I never bring up sports, but I will tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, there's a reason why baseball teams suddenly come out of nowhere and have a whole new level of game. And that's because they grow their own talent. They grow it in AA and AAA, and they bring it up through the ranks. And suddenly, out of nowhere, you have an explosion of fastballs. You have an explosion of home runs. And no one ever saw it coming. Because you've got kids down in the lower levels that are kicking ass, taking names, and stealing babies' lollipops. When you buy talent, when you buy it out of house, it costs you so very much. When you grow it from the ground up, it's something beautiful. And no paying royalties to creators. Yes, Dave Bob. Absolutely. When you grow it from the ground up, it's there. Is Disney going to listen to me? Hell no. They're going to listen to me. They don't give a shit about me. They don't give a shit about anybody on YouTube. No matter what anybody says, Disney is not watching YouTube. Disney is not watching anyone running their mouths on YouTube, talking crap. From the highest level to the lowest level, Disney does not give a shit what YouTube thinks. But they do give a shit about dollars. They do give a shit about their bottom line. Loki, it's all about their worldview. Yeah, and that's how they hire too. And that's another problem. We're not going to hire the best. We're not going to hire the brightest. We're not going to bring in people and grow them from the ground up to be creative. We're going to look at this at a political level. And we're going to hire based on politics. We're going to keep people in our business based on politics. And we're going to get rid of the ones where we don't like their politics, where we don't like their think, where we don't agree with how they do things. Maybe Jeff Bezos will swoop in and buy Disney while they're wounded and make Amazon even bigger. Wait, that would be terrible. Forget what I said. Or AT&T. Or AT&T. And yeah, Project Storytime, they are pretty bad. I completely agree. Not to get off on sports, because everybody will leave if I get off on baseball. I was just using that as an example. of what to do instead of what not to do. Disney can still save Disney. But that's the thing. Do the corporate giants in charge of Disney want to save Disney, or do they want a paycheck? I will tell you right now, they want a paycheck. They want to squeeze as much money as they can out of that corporate behemoth before it falls. And that's what's sad. And when it does, like Abigail said, it will fall like a great sequoia. It will go down like a great sequoia, slowly teetering until the day that it just can't support its own weight and falls. Yes, Dave Bob, all of Disney's problems, except for the virus, are self-inflicted. They are self-inflicted wounds. They are indeed. So, guys, I want to give you all a little update of what's going to be going on later in this week. We are going to have a big giveaway. We are going to have a wonderful giveaway Christmas Eve. And we are going to have a little bit of a party. We'll have one Christmas morning. I will be on Christmas Eve and Christmas morning. And I will be on later today in about an hour and 20 minutes on Rise and Shine with Valkyries to talk about The Expanse. If you like The Expanse, if you love The Expanse, Samantha, Joe, and I will be talking about the latest episode of The Expanse, which we're going to watch here very shortly. Disney killed their golden goose with what they did with Star Wars. They did. Absolutely, they did. And they've come to realize that the OT is what people love. The original trilogy is what people love. It all starts in the origins of a story. People like the prequel trilogy. People are divided over the sequel trilogy. But one thing they love, one thing they absolutely positively love is the OT. Start respecting what came before you, Disney. Start respecting the origins of what can make you billions and billions of dollars. Because it can. Star Wars was your golden goose, and you put a knife in it. Now you've got to heal that wound and heal it for all the people out there that hate you. There are people that will never be okay with your version of Star Wars. There are people that want good Star Wars. And there are people, they'll sit there on their phones while your movie plays in the background, and they'll text their friends about Raylo. They're not going to buy your stuff. They're not going to buy your toys. They're not going to go and get a McFarlane action figure that cost $80 to $100 of anything of your new shit. But then, if you honor the past, if you honor what came before, if you honor the OT, if you make good Star Wars connected with the original trilogy that isn't a bunch of woke flaming bullshit, then you've got our attention. You've got our attention, and you've got a way back into the pocketbooks of some of the people you screwed over. I hope so. I hope this is where it's going. I hope that we get to the point where we've got good Star Wars and good properties again and original IPs, not this rerun bullshit of, oh, well, now we have actors actually in the movie instead of, drawing it. Why can't you do that, Disney? Is it that you're so reliant on CG now that you just forgot how to animate? Is that where we're at? Project Storytime, I'm not giving Star Wars money until new leadership is in place. I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you. There is currently a package on the way to Loki. And that package is I'll just say that it is something very special for my 1-year anniversary on YouTube. And instead of going through certain channels, it was created by a company that makes quality. I'll explain more about that when it gets here. It should be here today or tomorrow. And I'll do a little review video for it, an unboxing, if you will. But a company that works for Disney, that is paid by Disney, makes these. But it didn't go through that. It went through a different company because the quality is so much higher. The work is so much better from this other company because they actually care about what they're doing. They care about what they're making. Could have gone through the company that works for Disney, but it's not the same quality. Then Dave Bob, The Expanse is the best sci-fi on TV right now. I couldn't agree more, brother. And we are going to be live in a little under an hour and 15 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Mark C., your boy Zach, has pulled his lawsuit against Mark Wade. Richard Meyer is not allowed to discuss the lawsuit as terms of Andy. Really? Holy shit. Damn. Does that mean that I am going to have to look at that? We may be talking about this tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Your boy Zach pulled the lawsuit. Holy shit. We may be bringing this to you tomorrow morning. Thank you so very much, everyone, for being here. Y'all have a great one. And I'll catch you over on the Valkyries in a little over an hour. Take care, everyone.
These videos are tremendous. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hammer that notification bell.